Hello, spellcasting tubers, and welcome back to take 2 of Let's Play Secret of the Silver Blades for today with me, BlueAnkylo. So I apologize if anything for my running commentary track today is a little bit off, but I've actually already done this episode, except that I hit the wrong button to record and none of it got saved. So I just reloaded my save file from the beginning and restarted it. So, spoiler alert, I sort of know what's going to happen today. If you're wondering the music, and for some reason don't want to read the text to the left, this is Final Fantasy VI, Balance and Ruin, another OC Remix album. It's like a 4-disc series, so we got a long way to go on this one. I haven't listened to it much, other than the fact that I've listened to about half an hour of it earlier. But it's pretty cool, so I'm thinking it will fit in with the series just fine, especially because I like Final Fantasy VI soundtrack anyway. It's kind of piano-y, it's got a little bit of jazzy and stuff, and actually it's got lots of music styles. I heard a little bit of flamenco in there, and it's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, check it out if you're interested. Hopefully the volume levels match out and everything works. So what I wanted to do today, and I already did once, but I'll do it for you guys who get to see it this time, is I want to spend a minute and sort of talk about some of my spell choices for the characters, because I realize in some of the previous episodes I've kind of skimmed over that a little. It's been a while since I've sort of explained my logic behind what people are learning. I've been memorizing stuff off camera, so how do you know why I'm memorizing these spells at? So just quickly, I don't want to spend tons of time, but Shinga as our paladin, who, well, let's look at what he's currently got. He only gets fairly low-level cleric spells compared to a pure cleric, and he doesn't get a ton of castings of them. So what I want to give him primarily are like support spells, because in battle he's going to have great strength and weapons and HP. So I want him on the front row, you know, holding the line, fighting stuff with his swords, like a paladin does. But out of combat, pre-battle, I want him to be able to buff people up with Bless, Prayer, some resist spells for fire and cold, maybe some light healing spells. And that's what a lot of the clerics do, don't get me wrong, but that's his primary focus. So those are the spells I'm going to give him extras of, basically. And I will probably give him resist cold on his next level 1 charge. Having some extra cure light wounds never hurts. And some more blesses and prayers. As you guys have probably noticed, a lot of the cure disease, blindness, remove curse, it doesn't happen very often, so there's no need to have a lot of charges stored up, or perhaps even any. Dispel magic isn't bad, though. That comes in handy a few times. So that's sort of Shinga's role as far as casting goes. We have a lot of casting, so we probably have more than we need. Fella, as a druid cleric, a ranger cleric, gets druid spells a little bit, mage spells a little bit, and a lot of cleric spells. So he gets your standard fare, heal, cure crit, cure serious, stuff like that. I want to make sure of my 3 main clerics, I want to make sure each one has a cure blind, cure disease, remove curse. So no matter which one does happen, I've got at least one person who can handle it. Some extra prayers, I probably got more than I need. Like I said, remove curse as well for Fella. We've got probably more level 3 slots than we need. One of the things I've mentioned, I've wanted to say for a while or explain is we're kind of picking more cure serious critical heal spells for our first couple slots of level 4, 5, 6, just to get them in the spell rotation. Once we've got maybe 2 charges per person or so, I'll add in more of the alternate spells like Raise Dead, Flame Strike, Protection from Evil, and stuff like that. But I like the HP first. I like being able to cure HP damage, you know, first and foremost. Other than that, I have been trying to show off some of the other spells. It's hard because the old gold box games are very... Well, fireballs are basically the best spells, and hold person is fine early on when the enemies have low saving throws, but later on it doesn't work very much. The buffs are okay, but they don't last very long. You don't fight snakes very often. Silence, again, doesn't work that often. It's generally better to just damage enemy casters rather than to try to cast a silence or a feeble mind on them in these games. So, I'm trying to memorize a wide variety of spells so that I'll show them off every now and then. It's just, I have a hard time finding a good situation to use them in case you're wondering. Now, Fella's kind of special. The old school Rangers get... Well, new school Rangers get Druid spells as well. Kind of like how Shinga got low-level Cleric spells, Fella will get low-level Druid spells. But what's odd is in these old D&D games, a Ranger actually learns a little bit of magic user magic. So we'll get magic missiles and some level 2 stuff, Stinking Cloud or something. I'm primarily going to use these spells as... Well, they don't really do much. The magic missile is a fair caster interrupt if there's an enemy caster. Entangle just slows enemy movement speed, and Fairy Fire supposedly lowers their Thaco or something, so they have a harder time hitting us. I think. It's been a while since I looked it up, but I'm probably not going to use this stuff too often. I'll try to remember to throw it in once in a while, but, you know, it's difficult for me to... Like, it's much quicker to win a battle just by smashing enemies with swords and fireballs. It's just the nature of this game. Pixel... Oh, right. The other thing was, of course, memorizing. So we've got access to a few other spells. I know I don't use the cause wounds or harm spells often. They are, like, one-range spells, and I generally say healing is more important than doing the same amount of damage in a spell, because a physical attack is almost as good anyway. Maybe if you had a pure cleric, these spells would be more effective, but I don't know about that either, really. But fighter clerics, might as well just have them smacking stuff. So you can kind of see I'm not missing too many spells, really. I'm trying to spread it out. So then we've got a mage, a fighter mage for Pixel. Probably the best, like if you really wanted to just play the game quickly, just put all your level 3 mages in Fireball slots. Like, really, Lightning Bolt is cool, but Fireball's almost always better. They do the same damage, assuming no resistances. The Fireball will almost always do a better AoE. And then Protection from Evil, it's not a big deal. I think my Clerics can get this spell in a level 4 slot, so I'll probably stop memorizing it on mages pretty soon and just let my level 4 casting Clerics handle that buff. It's a good buff, it's just, you know, it's a tough level for mages to lose a Fireball just for one of those. The level 4 spell that's probably the best is probably the Fire Shield. It's actually a pretty good self-buff. Charm Monsters works once in a while. Ice Storm does pretty mild damage. The Globe of Invulnerability, I don't know. I guess if you were fighting casters, this would stop them from magic missiling your caster, but I haven't seen it too effective. I think one thing you could do is, like, if Fella ran into... I've never done this on camera, but maybe I should try. If, say... Well, not Fella, but say Pixel ran right into the crowd of enemies, if he cast this on himself, and then I fireballed the group, he shouldn't take any damage, because Minor Globe should prevent any level 3 or lower spell from damaging him or affecting him. So, I mean, that would be kind of a cool way of working it. I think the game would figure that out. I don't think it needs to be an enemy spell. I think any spell level 3 or lower is stopped by this. So, I mean, that might be a cool trick. Put Minor Globe on someone, and then they can ignore fireballs as you wade through the corpses. You guys have seen Cloud kill a couple times. It's okay, but it has a terrible range and fails on harder monsters. Cone of Cold is just terrible. Hold Monsters is cool, but it doesn't work very well on monsters with good saving throws. And then we need Stone to Flesh to handle being turned to stone. The lower level spells I've probably gone over in the past. Enlarge does raise your strength a lot. So it's a pretty good buff for mages. The one that you don't see here, of course, is Haste. Oops, wrong one. Which is the level 3 spell that doubles your movement and your number of attacks per round, which is amazing. It's probably hands down the best buff, but the negative is it ages everyone, and I'm trying to avoid that. Plus, it's kind of overpowered. So, I will add in some other spells. Like, I want all my mages to have 1 Stone to Flesh, and then after that's done, I'll throw in some of these other ones, like Disintegrate. Sounds awesome. We'll try it out a bit, although, you know, insta-death spells that have a chance to fail, or, you know, on a good roll, it's an insta-death. On a bad roll, it does nothing. I don't like those too much. I'd rather 40 damage or save for 20, basically. If it's instant death and a save just paralyzes them, that'd be fine, but that doesn't happen very often. Slow is actually a pretty good debuff. I don't use it as often as I probably should. Like against those Pyro Hydras that get like 3 or 4 attacks per round, that would be a very effective spell. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, the rest of the casters, I haven't really done a whole lot. Christina as a fighter cleric mage, I've really jack of all trades her. So I'm giving her a little bit of everything when possible. She gets a slow, a lightning bolt, a fireball, one of like each spell. Like, other than like cure serious wounds and stuff like that, I'm trying to give her like one of a bunch of different spells. I didn't give her any Cone of Colds because it's terrible though. Sarius, I've kind of built him as an illusionist, sort of. But you'll see for the most part I've tried to give him more blinks and invisibilities. Although he's got the spell, he's got a ring of invisibility, so this spell is less useful. I gave him a teleport, stuff like that. I know I don't use them or show them off hardly ever, but my idea was to build Sarius as a illusionist mage thief, so that he could deceive enemies and backstab them and ambush them and stuff. It's just, in practice, you know, 4 fireballs probably would have been better. Just, you know, the nature. And then, of course, myself, I'm fairly generalist as well, though I focus a little bit more on giving myself more fireballs, because I don't have as much of a melee power with the inability to use swords and heavy armor and low HP. I'm probably going to stay at range more than the other characters for the most part. So I want to make sure I've got more range spells in general. And the fire shield's pretty cool, so I like that. Anyway, sorry for 10 minutes of talking there without any action, but let's get on with it. So I happen to know, and you guys could probably see, the map on the left, I should have mentioned this earlier, I guess. It's updated as far as I got from the recording that I actually loaded the save file, but Goldbox Companion doesn't go by the game save, it goes by, like, the instance of Goldbox Companion. So once you've started Goldbox Companion and explored, no matter what save file you load, the map will be updated to that point, if that makes sense. It'd be it's basically impossible for me to undo the exploring I did on the lost footage, so it's there. Suffice to say, there's nothing in any of these rooms. And then we got to the end of the hall, and you hear soft noises coming from the cell blocks to the north and south. Well, as you might be able to guess, I went south, and the first cell block I went into had a blind man in it. A blind man is standing in sightless dignity near the far wall. He calmly asks if you are with or against the black circle. So, the way I rationalize this is he doesn't sound very evil and black circle-y. Plus, we're in a black circle dungeon and he's locked up. So he's probably not with them himself. So let's say we're against them. This is also the truth, so, you know, it's got that going for it. The man reveals that he is a mage under a heavy curse. He gives you his story as Journal 13. Should be able to display this without too much trouble. And I'll let you guys see it. Blind Mage's story. I led a band of heroes to clear the mines. We discovered the dungeons and were nearly to the top when the Black Circle sprung their ambush. I was a local who never trusted the Circle's claim of friendship, so they were glad to capture me. Not content to simply kill me, they prepared an elaborate wish. Sounds like a genie. It traps me in this cell, blind and unable to cast spells. And it also had the side effect of rendering me immortal and immune to damage. Once you free me, I shall regain my own powers, but also lose those benefits. This is a fair exchange. So, the way I read this is that's like possibly the worst punishment they could ever inflict on someone. Immortality, locked in a cage, blind and powerless, but you can never die. Like, they must really have hated this guy, whoever he is. Or this is all an elaborate hoax to trick me into letting him go and then he turns into a vampire and kills us. You never know, right? Oh, I have to skip this song because they're singing and I can't talk over singing. It's just personal inability. Sorry to the composers of some of these awesome songs. I may even like the tracks. I just can't listen to them while I'm talking. Let's playing. So anyway, yeah, this guy, terrible, terrible situation. But, I mean, I guess we can just let him out and he'll be fine, so that shouldn't be too hard. He describes a map to his hidden treasure, and you recorded his journal entry 52. Now this one I have to look up on the PDF file. And luckily it's right here. So if you look at the map, you can probably figure out where it is and how I got there. I'm just willing to... I'm pretty sure you can figure that part out. Say Nakasia to deactivate the spell. He gives an embarrassed smile. A silly conceit, he says. I met her once. A remarkable woman. Was she a griffin? Or a sphinx? A gynosphinx? She was probably a gynosphinx. You lead the blind enchanter out of his cell. He slips the ring on his finger and disappears. The what? He just let... Well, it probably wasn't Frodo or Bilbo. Because he wasn't... He looked like a man, not a hobbit. We might have just freed Sauron. And he's now free to go take over the world. Great. Good work. Experience for freeing Sauron. Thanks, everybody. Alright, so, if you follow the map, you could probably figure out that this is the room to go to. This area is heavy with a magical aura. And luckily, I paid attention the first time, so I know how to spell it. You guys would have laughed at me, because I think I said the word out loud about 20 times on the walk over the first time, so that I would remember it, because I'm really bad at names. Anyway, we get some magical loot, which we will identify back in town. And I'll give you guys a spoiler. There's some good loot there, actually. And then, of course, I immediately went to the next room and found a glowing gate with a Hydra behind it. And, of course, the raving madman appears. There is treasure for you beyond the gate. Oh, you must take this challenge. He should be speaking in rhyme. It would have been awesome. Like, every line should rhyme with the last one. And I would like this guy way more. Anyway, it's pretty obviously a trap, I think. So, it's only fair that we prepare via some praying. Gives us some better AC. Some blessing. And I'll even throw in a protection from evil. Which is a level 3 spell. There, or 4, sorry. Okay, so you could continue to buff up with resist fires and enlarge and fire shields. And I don't know if there's any other good buffs, but I think we'll be fine at that point. So let's just move on in. He says the same thing, so let's just go through the gate. And totally not surprisingly, pyrohydras. So, 12-headed pyrohydras. You know, we should be okay. I think I will want to kill the one on the right first. It's a pretty good start. Now, Sarius is kind of stuck, so I'm just going to delay his turn and delay Vala's turn so I can get out of the way so they can get out. And from here, I figure, you know, we might as well start with a fireball. It's only fair. If pyrohydras are going to not resist fireball, then I might as well just fire them all the time. Ooh, 52 damage on a max. That's pretty awesome. So my fireballs, I think I'm what, level 12 mage? They should be doing 12 to 72 damage if I did the math. 52 is about 2/3. We were unable to kill that pyrohydra though. The one that I thought we would kill. We're on round 2 now, in case you're counting. And I'll help out. I've got a magic mace, you know. Christina's got her awesome +4 flail. Spoiler alert, we might be getting some better weapons for some people coming up. Alright, that was easy, right? 7,000 XP isn't bad. Oh no! There's more! Umber Hulks! So, the story I told the last time we fought the Umber Hulks was that in this game, I wasn't really impressed by them. Like, they don't seem that difficult. I remember them in, I believe, Icewind Dale being really hard to kill early on when you first fight them. Like, they tend to, well, they still stun you and they can berserk you and all that. But they also AoE stun, I think, unlike in this game where they just stare at one person. I think they had kind of a tremor or something that hits, you know, your whole party if you're unlucky. That was a really bad fireball, by the way. So you could find most of your entire team staring blankly, and, well, then you'd die. So, that was worse. They are not terribly successful at the whole gazing thing today, apparently. Mostly their talents seem to have been saving throws on fireballs. And I might as well help out a little bit. Glorious leader and all that, right? I guess Umber Hulks don't count as giants, since Fella doesn't get any extra damage against them. Alright, well that battle wasn't too bad. Tons of experience though. I think that must include some sort of quest reward on top of the XP for killing the Umber Hulks, because we don't normally get that much from a few Umber Hulks. And we get money this time, or at least gems, and some more magical loot. Which must be random, because some of it's different than what I saw last time. That's interesting. Of course, overloaded by the plate mail. Oops. Don't forget your gems. There is another teleporter across the room. So now you guys might be able to figure out why I didn't explore any more of this dungeon. It turns out you can go back to town from here. So, I did say at the end of last episode, the last real episode, that we must be close to a teleporter, and I think I was right. We didn't really have too much further to go. But while we're here in town, I will go level up and identify some stuff for you, and we might have some random loot that gets you different stuff every time you do that fight, so that's kind of cool. So I get a level up, only me, and I become better at clericing. What's the verb for clericing? I'm better at clericizing. Clerexercise. Alright, and just to demonstrate, I should have some new slots. Level 1, 2, and 3 slot of cleric, and a level 6 slot. Which is probably just going to be another heal spell. Which is really, really valuable, actually, so I'm quite happy to get a second one of those. Full heals are no joke. I'll deal with that later, though. Probably off camera. And then we go ID. And one of the things that you need to identify is to actually have money. So what I'm going to do is take the jewelry and appraise it. So that's pretty bad luck. That's average. That's pretty bad luck. Pretty low. I got a lot more money on the last one. Like, I had quite a few 3,000s and a 4,000 for the jewelry. So, whatever. We didn't get a great luck roll on the jewelry selling, but it's fine. We got enough anyway. So, we want to ID the scimitar. And it's really awesome. A +4 scimitar. The quarterstaff is pretty good as well, but unfortunately it's a two-handed weapon, which means I'm just going to get rid of it. The darts are actually quite good, but there's only 4 of them, and I don't want to take up an inventory slot, so we'll sell them. And bam, another wand of fireballs. I'm going to leave this one with Shinga, so he finally feels like he's part of the team with his fireball wand. And a staff sling, which is better than my old staff sling for me. So I'm taking it. Period. In fact, let me just sell the old one right now, so it's out of the way. There we go. Okay, well that's not all. We have more loot to identify. Well, fella, I'm actually curious. What kind of plate mail did we get? Plate +3. I think I got a shield +3 last time. That's interesting. See, because the shield +3 I knew who to give. Christina didn't have one of those yet. But who is missing a plate +3? Possibly no one. Probably no one. Well, I guess I could give it to Vala. It would be better than the plate +2, but shoot, the shield +3 was better because that was a guaranteed AC improvement for either Christina or for me. We need 2 of those shields, actually. I mean, it's possible it's better than the banded mail, but I kind of doubt it. Let's finish identifying this stuff. I didn't get these darts either last time. I did get that ring last time. And I did get that armor last time. And I think I remember getting a terrible shield. Huh. Well, I would have definitely preferred a +3 shield over a +3 plate mail, given my current loadout of loot. Well, let's test out. I'm pretty sure the banded +5 is better than the plate +3, but let's just double check here. So an AC of -9. Switch it over. And yeah, it's one worse. Oh, sorry, I got to skip this song again. We've got some singing going on. Just consider it a fanfare. Besides, I think this song or the next one is really cool. I know we have some new scrolls. I looked through them on the last playthrough, or the last episode, and unless they've been also randomized, it's nothing special. Just a bunch of low-level spells and the occasional level 6 or 7 spell that we've already got. Someone has, basically. I can deal with those later. So, let me think. Technically, I could give Sarius the plate +3, but that would limit his ability to do thief stuff, which is dumb. I could also give it to myself, but I kind of don't like that. I think role-playing, I don't wear heavy armor. So unfortunately, that doesn't really give us any options other than to sell it. Sorry guys, plate +3 is pretty good, but I need +4 or better, basically. So that's that. Okay, inventory dealt with. Oh, and yeah, I do want my money. Alright, so we didn't, I didn't really make it any further than the last time I tried to make an episode. But, I will deposit my money here. Deposit. Pool. Exit. And let's see, let's check how much we've got. We've got thousands of gems, 100 of jewelry, 100,000 platinum. It's pretty good. I could, like, appraise all this jewelry and then deposit it as platinum, but I think it'd be better if we just had a giant pile of money and gems and jewelry that we can all take turns swimming in. I think that's pretty cool. Good day, sir. Alright, back to town. Or back to the inn, I guess. Fix. And, I mean, it's actually pretty easy to just add... Oh, right, okay. Let's do it the cheaty way. It's not really cheating, it's just we're in town, so let's just restore spells. And that means the only spells we need to add are new spells. So I can add in another, say, resist cold. I can add in another resist fire if I wanted. And another dispel magic. No, that's a magic user spell. This one. Clerical. And another heal. I think that makes sense. And we'll memorize those. You guys get to see me memorizing some new spells for once. Hardly ever get to show that on camera. And I think that's going to be it, basically, for this episode. A little bit shorter, but it's basically where I ended the last one, and I want to double-check that this video recorded properly before I go any further. So, thanks for watching, folks. I hope you have enjoyed, and I won't be spending any more time in the next few episodes going over spells, so don't worry about that. Don't forget, if you really enjoy the series, consider leaving a like or something like that. And I will see you next time for more Silverblade Secrets.